Hi, and welcome back. If you have been doing all the right things, being consistent, eating better, getting to the gym consistently, being kind of restrictive or intentional about what you're doing, and you're still not getting the results that you'd hoped for, I want to address this topic today because this is something that I hear quite often with the women that I work with or when we're starting to work together, that there's this level of frustration and also confusion because you're doing all the things and not getting the results that you'd hoped for or perhaps that you once did. And what that leads to is a next layer of frustration and what can get us spinning into even deeper trouble because we're trying so hard. And then we get into this like screw it mode. And because you're not getting the results that you wanted to, so you kind of give up on yourself. And then we continue this perpetual kind of system or loop that keeps us feeding to the getting the same results and not getting anywhere. So, the first thing I want to just do is normalize that this is such a common complaint that it's not just you. And I want to normalize that your body is not, it's not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a special unicorn where other people can do it and you can't. It's not because you're getting older or your metabolism has slowed. There's something else much deeper going on. And I want to dive into that and explain why here today. So, our body, as you may know if you've been listening to any of my previous videos, is always communicating to us using symptoms as signals. It doesn't use words, it uses symptoms. So, our job is to decode what may be going on when it's giving us these sometimes subtle, sometimes not so subtle signals. What can be happening is, particularly in midlife, is we have these accumulation of many factors, many variables, sometimes multiple decades of imbalances, from nutrient deficiencies to stressors to traumas to dramas. And what happens is the imbalance gets a little bit more, and sometimes more than a little bit, but it gets louder or more significant or more noticeable as time goes on. In our early years, we don't feel those imbalances or sense those imbalances so much, but as time goes on, they become more. They become larger, and then of course we throw in the hormonal mix and changes that makes the changes much more significant and noticeable. What I typically would look at when I'm working with someone who has this kind of what I would call very common complaint and concern is, first of all, like it is it the stress? Where is your stress load at? So stress in terms of not just mental and emotional, but also looking at physical stressors. So we would take a look at blood sugar stability. How is it throughout the day? How is your sleep? How is your nervous system reacting? Does your body actually feel safe enough to let go and to not be bracing? So what typically happens here is our body just does not prioritize change, right? It actually prioritizes stability. So when you've been doing something, restricting calories or intake and exercising more, the body adapts. The body adapts to less and actually perhaps even constant go mode or pushing. So in the beginning, that could have worked because it was a little bit different. And then it stops working because the body has just adapted. So, what it's really looking for is stability because what's happening is the body's holding on, it's conserving energy, particularly in the cases where the input, what you're eating, is restricted or less, and you're asking your body to perform more in terms of life or stressful situations, conquer more, do more, even working out more consistently can put additional layers of stress on top of all of these other imbalances. So, this is why it can feel like nothing is working, even though you are trying and you're doing all the right things. So, that instinct to do more can actually be the catalyst to actually create more harm than good. And I know that seems so counterintuitive, right? When we eat less and we work harder, the body braces itself even deeper and stronger. And then it adds load, adds more for our body to actually deal with. So the idea is not to push any harder, it's actually to understand how we can support our body in a new way and listen to what it is communicating with you. So, supporting it by listening to its responses and see what your body is actually responding to. So, we would look at what it actually needs instead. So, if this feels like you, if this is something that's been swimming around in your mind, in your heart, in your body, and you've been struggling with the same issue, just first of all, know that you're not alone and there is a fix. This is the exact work that I do with my clients. And I'll invite you to have a conversation with me. If this feels aligned, I'll drop the link below. We can explore a little bit further of how to work with your body, support it so it doesn't feel like it's working against you, because your body, my friend, is always working for you.